Hi, I'm Alex Archbold. I've been buying and selling antiques since I was a kid. Over the years, generations of our family have gotten involved in the business, and I'll search just about anywhere I can to find hidden treasures both big and small. I never know what I'll turn up next. It's about exploring new places, seeing new sights, and having fun. And even though sometimes I get over my head, we try and make things a little better along the way. This is Curiosity Inc. Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to today's episode. I am off and on my way this morning to the Edmonton Collector Con, and you might wonder, well, what the heck is that? Well, it is a show mainly for collectors of vintage pop culture items, old toys and collectibles, everything that's kind of right up my alley. So I'm gonna go explore, see if I can find some treasures maybe for myself and show you guys what it's all about. So let's go together to the Edmonton Collector Con and see if we can find some cool stuff today. Let's go. The crowds are waiting, clamoring to get inside, as everybody here wants to get the first crack at whatever collectibles are beyond those doors. There are two halls completely packed full of stuff, but before we get through and do some searching, we've got Shane here. Hey Shane.
How are you?
Good. So you are the brains, the people who organize and sets up this event. So tell me, how'd you get started in this?
I got started over 20 years ago. We used to be called the Edmonton Collectible Toy and Comic Show, and we started out at the Greenwood Inn, then we moved to the Mayfield, and we were there for a while before moving to the Shaw Conference Center. And then after 10 years of doing the show at the Shaw, I put that to bed and co-founded the Edmonton Expo with the Calgary Expo folks. Ran that for several years and had a 1-year gap before I started this, which is the Edmonton Collector Con, which we've been running for over 10 years now, because all I ever wanted was just to run a straight up toy and comic book show.
And now you're doing it. And so if people want to find you online, what's your website?
Our website is Edmonton Collector Con. It's edtoyshow.com.
Yep.
And you can find us at facebook.com/edtoyshow as well.
And it looked like a good crowd waiting at the gates this morning.
Yeah, we always have a really strong crowd. It's usually packed in here for the first couple hours.
So what are the hot sellers right now? What are people really into collecting these days?
You know, honestly, it's different from show to show. I will bring, something one show it doesn't sell, and then I'll bring different stuff the next show, and people want the stuff that I brought the show before that I don't have this time. So it's always different. But, comics are always super hot. Vintage toys are peaking. Wrestling stuff is pretty hot right now.
Oh, like the big old rubber wrestling figures?
Yeah, but a lot of the newer stuff too, and a lot of people are even looking for trading cards these days, so it's kind of...
Right, so trading cards like Pokemon, Old Magic the Gathering,
Pokemon, that sort of stuff, but also like non-sports cards and stuff like that too. So.
Okay, and Star Wars, I see, there's always Star Wars kicking around.
Star Wars is always hot. We've always got a good amount of Star Wars stuff. G.I. Joe's hot. All those 80s properties that, those of us of our age grew up with, so...
Yeah, it's hard keeping track of the trends. I remember, and I'm sure when you started collecting, you'd see a lot of 50s stuff like Roy Rogers and that at the shows, and now it's more into the stuff that was popular in the 80s and 90s.
That's just it. Everything evolves as we grow into that age group, right? And no longer is it our grandfather's hobbies of trains and coins and stamps. Now this is the stuff that, as we hit our 40s and 50s, we have that disposable income and we want to spend good money on the stuff that we never got to have.
And Lego is this whole other thing too.
Lego is a big thing too, yeah.
Gosh, well, I can't wait to have a look around. Thank you so much for putting the show on, and I'm going to go have some fun. And I collect stuff too, so maybe I'll find some stuff today.
Awesome. Enjoy yourself today.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go aisle by aisle and see what kind of stuff. Look, you can actually buy complete sets of vintage cards. He's got all kinds of neat stuff. Let's have a walk around. Now for me, I really like Silver Age or Golden Age comics. I just really like the artwork on them. For me, when you see, I'll zoom in, the guy with he's knocking him out and he's got the tri-point hat on, startling comics. Just the old school artwork for me is very kind of pop art, like that Liechtenstein kind of feel, and I've always loved it for the art. But when it comes to comic books, you're paying a premium depending upon what happened in the story at that time too. So if it's what they refer to as a key comic, maybe there's a first appearance of a superhero or some major event. Look at this. They've got all these little Lego figures set up into containers. That's kind of creative, so you can get your X-Men figures. $45 for the whole set. That's probably not bad. Look at them all, so nicely organized. I wonder where you get these little containers from. That's a good idea. Cool. And then Star Wars. It's a neat idea. I like that. Okay. Let's keep on looking. Loose minifigures. $6 each. Well, that could add up if a person has a whole pile of these sitting around. We've got buckets of this stuff at home. I don't know if you can see the Jungle comic book there, but that's what they call a painted cover. Or not, that's not a painted cover, that's traditional comic book. I'll try and find one that's a painted cover so you can kind of see the difference. But they would actually hire artists to do like proper oil paintings at the time and then publish that image, or they'd have the traditional comic book art. But there's people who collect painted covers, people who collect the older art, people who collect the newer, certain artists. Okay. But I am on the hunt today to see if I can find maybe some vintage toy cars, specifically the Corgi, like the Batmobile. Well, I've got that one, but I need others like it. Oh, look at all these neat toys back there. Big Star Wars droids. That's cool. Space 1999 in its original box and still sealed. 2,500 bucks. It's always worthwhile to go looking through your basement and see if you can find something really cool. There's Ed Straker's car. I don't know if I have this one or not. It does have the box. I feel like I have. Do you mind if I take that out of the box to have a look at it? Okay. No, I don't think I have this one. I must have the Joe 90 car. It's a red one with keyless clockwork motor. And I'm guessing you guys are just doing cash today, right? Or do you have debit as well? Cash, okay.
Joe 90 cards, the four-wheel one with the wings that pop out.
Oh, that's got the wings that pop out.
That one is the Spectre.
Huh. I'm trying to remember which one. I have something similar to this, but it's in like a red metallic. But that might be one I don't have.
Unless it's got the... I'm thinking...
Okay, well, my first find of the day is this. The Ed Straker's car. It's made by Dinky Toys. I mainly collect Corgi, but Dinky did do some TV and movie themed cars, and this is one that I didn't have, and it has the box. I wasn't going to buy it because it was missing the end flap, but it was stuffed in there. If you're careful, you can find a way to reattach that, but it's hard to find this stuff with original packaging, so first score of the day. All right.
Starsky and Hutch.
Well, I see you've got the Starsky and Hutch figures on card. And that's not an easy thing to find. But you also have the Corgi Vegas car, which was a short-lived series, TV series. But he had this cool T-Bird. It's got the figure in there. This plastic is forever either cracked, broken, or missing. It is there. Like Evel Knievel cars too. I think I saw that one in person in, I think, Niagara Falls. They had the Evel Knievel Museum. But yeah, I think that's another one I don't have. Darn, I'm finding all kinds of stuff here today. And then if you could get into the newer stuff too, like One Punch Man and that, but that's beyond the era that I'm collecting. So see if we can strike a deal on this guy. Well, I ended up getting the little Corgi Vegas car, add to my collection. So I've only gone down basically one aisle and I've already bought two things. But that's the thing, this show has more stuff of interest to me than for my own personal collecting than a lot of other shows would. Friction Freight Train, the Munsters on VHS.
The Lost Episode.
The Lost Episode. What happens in the Lost Episode that's...
I don't know, I don't have a VCR.
We'll have to get you a VCR. Gosh, I remember those superpower figures when I was a kid. Those were the best. Squeeze the little arms and they jump around and do stuff. Johnny West and Jane West. And of course, if you had He-Man as a kid. Oh, look at the little Gilbert James Bond figures. That's kind of cool.
These are vintage.
Yeah, I recently picked up the Gilbert James Bond car. I found one in the box when I was in the United States.
The one with the...
It has all the working features on it. Is this what I think it is? It's a Grayskull beer stein. Look at that. Drinking beer out of the He-Man Castle Grayskull. It's got the German style flip lid on it. Never seen that before, but that's cool. That's different. Oh, there it is there. Lots of Star Wars going on. Of course, the slightly newer stuff and then the original. They remanufactured a lot of things like these superpowers. Those are new, but they're in the old style packaging. And of course, Lego sets. I don't know if you can see over there. They've got Lego sets they've reassembled and selling. Transformers, just all the different sorts of things people are into. But there's a common theme: comic books, action figures, and everybody's having a great time. Look how busy it is. I can barely walk through here. This is kind of interesting to me that you're starting to see VHS tapes showing up at these sales. He has quite a collection of them too. And you know, your classic titles like Willow, Spider-Man, but I just had a pile of VHS and I think I donated almost all of them. Maybe I made a mistake on that because it looks like they're starting to gain speed. You know, they're on the table here with all the other sorts of collectibles, so must be an up and coming thing people are into, VHS. A few years back, you'd see a lot more of the pop vinyl figures, and there's still lots of collectors for it, but it's kind of toned down a little bit. Got some neat stuff over here. Let's see what's going on. Vintage packs of cards. Look, 85 O-Pee-Chee Wrestling. Probably hard to find those still in the package after all those years. The Hulk Hogan right on the front. Everything from toy dinosaurs to action figures and everything in between. Elite Hans, Terror Billy, the cold-blooded terrorist. I don't know that I've seen that one before. It looks like it's G.I. Joe size. That's neat. Comics, Ninja Turtles in the packaging. This is kind of the place where if you want to, if you collect this type of stuff, these are the type of shows you want to go to. And I can see why it's popular. You know, you go to antique malls and stuff, it's almost impossible to find this kind of stuff. There, you got the old real Ghostbusters toys. I don't remember having the Dracula, but I remember seeing these guys around. I was just getting a little too old when these toys were coming out. You know, like 12, when you think you shouldn't be interested in toys, but really you're kind of still interested. I always thought those were cool, especially the, if you ever had the Ghostbuster car, that was the best. Got Yoda in the box, Ninja Turtles back there in the packaging. Lots of Transformers. Everybody watching at home, you should dig through your toy boxes and see what you got, because you might be sitting on a gold mine. But what you're not seeing at a show like this is a lot of the vintage toys. You're not seeing tin toys and train sets like you said. That's what used to be at the toy shows when I was a kid and would go to these things. It was all 1950 stuff, but now you see some of the stuff here and it's getting a little bit on the newer side. Oh, he's got the first Submariner back there. That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna have one last look in this hall, but there's a whole other hall to go check out. There's still lots to see, and I know I missed a bunch of stuff in here, but they say the other hall might have a bit more toys, so that's where I'm going now.
How are you doing?
So far, finding some good stuff, though, and having fun. Okay, apparently down around the corner says there's more vendors, and yes, indeed there are. So let's do a little walkabout and see what we can find over on this side. More action figures and comics. There's an old Avengers up at the top there. Avengers number 42.
Can somewhere.
Gosh, is an old G.I. Joe set, still in its original packaging. I remember as a kid I'd come down, they had an escalator at the, I think it was Zeller's at that time, or even maybe Wolco, and they had the SS flag, that giant aircraft carrier. Yeah, man, that was quite the thing to see. It was big. It was bigger than me by a long shot. I don't know what kid had room in his bedroom for that. If you ever see one of those at a yard sale, pick it up because they are pretty desirable. It's hard to find old G.I. Joe in the box like that too. It's really cool. You know, the things you don't expect to see when you're walking around. So I see back there you've got some G.I. Joes. Yeah, I get it. There's the space station. You got the Beatles. Kind of fun. But Sea Monkey toys? Who knew? You could have the whole family of Sea Monkeys. Why? I don't know. They're more exciting. Look, that's what you thought your Sea Monkeys were going to look like when you got them as a kid, instead of the little tiny shrimp that they ended up being. But who would have thought to make sea monkey action figures? Somebody did, and they're for sale here. If you come down to the show at some point, you might be able to just sit and snap up a pair. And of course, you couldn't do a show like this without having some people doing the Hot Wheels. These are all a little bit newer than what I do, but hey, look, the American Pickers guys, they have their own line of toy cars. Volkswagen thing, I don't know that. That'd be cool. That'd be so neat to have like a line of my cars that I have made into tiny little toys at some point. It's the Curiosity Inc. series of toy cars. Hey, if you're listening, Greenlight Collectibles, that probably never happened, but how cool for them that they've got their stuff out there like this. Oh, there's an old little corgi James Bond Lotus. Yeah, I have a browse around the corner here. Star Wars still playing a big role at the shows here. Especially hard to find the older stuff. There's the original Millennium Falcon with Battle Alert sound in the box, 500 bucks. And they've got an even bigger one back there for 1,000. I wonder what the difference is. What is the difference between the two, the big box and small box versions?
This one came out in 1983.
83, and the other one?
That one came out about 12 years ago.
Oh, okay, so that one is a newer one made to look like the old one. Gotcha, okay. Well, you never know with these things. Sometimes there's Canadian and US packaging, and hard to find the early sets with the cardboard still attached too. That was probably the first thing to go.
Pretty much.
Very neat. This booth has a ton of comics, and what I love to see is all the vintage, the golden, the silver age. And actually the proprietor here, hey, how's it going?
Hey.
He's got a couple cool shops in town. You've been in Edmonton in this scene for how long now?
Oh boy. Over 30 years.
30 years. White Knight, and then you've got Mars and Venus.
Mars and Venus, yeah.
Yeah, and two of the most cool, eclectic shops you can possibly go to in town.
Super eclectic.
If you want a cool shirt like the one you're wearing, or if you want comic books, you can go upstairs or downstairs.
Mainly upstairs for all the collectibles, but yeah, we got all kinds of neat stuff.
What's the hot seller right now? Like, what are people looking for?
Hot seller. There is no such thing as a hot seller in our environment. We have so many different things.
Right, so
People
it's
come in, it's different stuff for different days.
So you gotta have
weeks.
variety.
Yeah, I got lots of variety.
Well, you got variety in your store. I went in there the other day, and I was like, you got everything from, like, I wouldn't say shrunken heads, but you got oddities to antiques to everything. So if you're in the White Avenue area of Edmonton, you got to check out his shops, White Knight, Mars and Venus, and you've always got a cool shop. So yeah, I see. And I was mesmerized by your selection of old comic books, which is what brought me over.
We have so much stuff that we bring completely different collections to the shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all this stuff's not even in the store.
Well, I'm looking today. I'm on the hunt for corgi and dinky toys and stuff, and I found a couple, but we'll keep on looking. But yeah, hope it's a good sale for you.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Well, I was looking at the table here and seeing the variety again with the VHS. Everybody's got VHS nowadays.
You know what? I'm surprisingly, every time I come to the show, there's people looking for VHS.
People are doing VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw you got the Legoland $69.90. That's the Lights and Sounds monorail set. That's an unusual set. That's like early 80s or something like that, right? Or
1987.
87. And so what is a set like that worth with its box?
Well, this one is complete and it works.
And it works, okay.
I have put it all together. I can put the batteries on. It's got some of the connections might be a little bit dirty, but it still runs the track.
Yep.
I'm asking $700 for it.
And that's saying, where are you going to find another one?
Well,
That-
find one still in its box.
And working.
And all the pieces are there. It's pretty rare. I mean, I do have it broken up. I don't have the inserts, but
you got the bags, yeah.
All the bags broken up by pieces that you need to put it together with.
That's fantastic. That's a great set. Okay, well, I'm filtering my way out of the building right now, and there's more people going in the other direction. But for me, I ended up finding a couple toys that I was looking for, or actually didn't even know I was looking for, that I didn't have in my collection. And being able to buy them locally for a fair price and not have to pay shipping or import fees or anything is such a big deal. So if you're ever in the Edmonton area, well, you got to check out the Edmonton Collector Con. They've got all kinds of cool stuff. And yeah, check them out. As for me, I'm going to go home and set this stuff up on my shelf and go hang out with the family. So guys, thanks again for watching today's episode. We'll see you all soon. And as always, bye for now. Bye guys.